guess what? I don't care. Oh! I almost just... Oh! Alright, the worst gamer deaths ever. We got a lot of them, bro. We got StarCraft, Pokemon, Minecraft, Wii Fit, League of Legends, Pokemon Go. Shit. Let's go.
The StarCraft incident. On August 5th, 2005, 28-year-old Lee Sung-seop entered an internet cafe in Daegu, South Korea. He ordered a soda, logged into StarCraft, and began playing. Hours turned into days. Witnesses said he rarely moved from his chair, taking only short breaks to the toilet. By the second night, he had been at the keyboard for nearly 50 hours. His posture sagged, his eyes bloodshot, but he kept clicking. The cafe manager urged him to stop, but Lee shook his head and loaded another match. At dawn on the third day, he suddenly collapsed. Paramedics arrived quickly, but he was unresponsive. At the hospital, doctors confirmed cardiac arrest brought on by exhaustion, dehydration, and blood clotting from immobility. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The Pokemon electrocution.
Oh, man, that dude was literally obsessed with StarCraft. He was so obsessed with StarCraft, he couldn't get up. He had to sit there and play StarCraft for 50 hours straight. Oh, have mercy. Hey, you know, fun fact, this is why I refuse to sit longer than 4 to 5 hours. I refuse. So if we ever do another subathon, I'm moving, bro. Like, I'm talking like IRL subathon. IRL. Like, I'm moving, bud. I'm moving. I'm not sitting on my ass. I don't need to stretch right now. I already stretched. That's a crazy death, though. 50 hours? R.I.P.
On July 9th, 2000...
Which one was this one? Pokemon Go?
The Pokemon electrocution. On July 9th, 2017, in Iloilo City, Philippines, a 12-year-old boy was playing Pokemon Go with friends. They wandered near a construction site while searching for digital creatures.
Dude, how many of y'all still play Pokemon Go? When Pokemon Go first came out, dude, it was so fun. But then it became like, boy, I'm not driving an hour away just to get a goddamn Pokemon. Like, I'm not driving an hour away to go get a fucking Charmander. You've never played? Really? It's literally like IRL Pokemon. Like, you go out and you search for Pokemon in the world, basically. It's a cool concept. It's a very cool concept.
The boy, holding his phone, climbed onto a metal structure close to overhead power lines. Witnesses said he lost his balance and reached out for support. His hand made contact with a live electrical cable. A loud crack followed, and he collapsed instantly. Friends screamed for help, and bystanders rushed over. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but the boy showed no signs of life. He was pronounced dead from electrocution.
Holy
Authorities
shish.
confirmed that he had been distracted by the game, which led him into a dangerous area.
No way he was that distracted to climb up a pole. Like, I mean, a 12-year-old's got to know what an electrical pole is, right? There's no way. He knew. There's just no way.
The accident was covered by local news outlets and cited as part of a series of Pokemon Go-related fatalities worldwide, where players, focused on the screen, entered dangerous environments. The Minecraft incident. On July 19th, 2015, a 17-year-old boy entered an internet cafe in Pampanga, Philippines. He logged into Minecraft and began what became a marathon session. Witnesses said he played for...
No way. Is this the same thing?
For almost 3 straight days, taking only brief naps at the desk. Staff grew concerned when they noticed he had not eaten properly and had barely moved from his chair. On the third day, as he leaned forward to type, his body went limp. He collapsed onto the keyboard and did not get up again. Friends called for help, and staff attempted first aid. Paramedics arrived, but pronounced him dead at the scene. Local doctors later cited cardiac failure linked to severe exhaustion and dehydration after continuous gaming. The Call of Duty SWAT.
Bro, what is up with these people, man? Like, just get off the game. Or literally drink some water. What is up with these people just going to cafes and gaming until they die?
On December 28th,
What the fuck?
continuous gaming. The Call of Duty swatting. On December 28th, 2017, 2 Call of Duty players in the United States got into an online argument over a $1.50 wagered match.
Oh, shit.
One player, Casey Viner, asked another, Tyler Barris, to swat his opponent by calling police to his address. Barris dialed 911 in Los Angeles and reported a fake hostage situation in Wichita, Kansas. The address he gave was not his rival's, but belonged to 28-year-old Andrew Finch, who had no connection to the dispute. Police surrounded Finch's home. When he opened the door, officers ordered him to raise his hands. Confused, he moved slightly, and an officer fired a single shot. Finch was killed instantly in front of his family. The case shocked the gaming world.
Wow, bro, wow. You know how many streamers actually get swatted? This was over $1.50, by the way. He got swatted over $1. Over $1. Over $1. Is that why you won't give me your address? No, I just don't want you. Why would I want you to have my address?
Barris was later sentenced to 20 years in prison, while Viner received a shorter sentence. The Wii Fit incident. On December 28, 2009, 25-year-old Tim Eves from Sittingbourne, Kent, received a Nintendo Wii Fit as a Christmas present. Excited to try it, he began using the console's fitness programs on Boxing Day. Family members later reported that he exercised intensely for several hours with the balance board and aerobic mini-games. That evening, after finishing a workout, he complained of chest pains and shortness of breath. His mother urged him to rest. Minutes later, he collapsed in the living room. Paramedics were called immediately. Despite resuscitation attempts, he was declared dead at the scene. An inquest found that Tim had suffered a sudden cardiac arrhythmia. Though rare, doctors noted that strenuous physical activity can sometimes trigger fatal heart irregularities in young adults. The case was widely reported in the UK as the first known death linked to Wii Fit activity.
Damn.
The Counter-Strike incident. On February 26, 2010, in Chongqing, China.
Y'all don't be playing like that, seriously, because people out here are weird as fuck. There will be no party outside of my house. No one's going to be looking in my window. We don't play around like that. It ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen.
The Counter-Strike incident. On February 26, 2010, in Chongqing, China, 2 men in their 20s sat in an internet cafe playing Counter-Strike.
What is up with these motherfuckers in an internet cafe?
They began to argue over strategy and insults in the game. Witnesses said the argument grew heated, with both shouting loud enough to attract attention across the room. One man stood up and pushed the other. Staff intervened and briefly separated them, but the fight continued outside the cafe. The aggressor grabbed a knife and stabbed his opponent multiple times in the chest and abdomen.
What?
Bystanders called for help, but the victim collapsed on the pavement before paramedics arrived. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police quickly arrested the attacker, who admitted to losing his temper during the argument. The killing was widely reported in Chinese media as another example of internet cafe disputes turning deadly.
I mean, back on that Arc Raiders incident when we met with Peter, that fucking dude. God damn. Welcome in. That's crazy. I don't think no matter how mad I physically get at a game, And like, I mean, I've said some things before on stream. Like I've said, like, man, I just want to like stick my fingers into their throat and watch, watch them gasp for air in game. But I would never be able to do that. I could never do that. I just talk that shit. You know what I mean? I'm just like pissed off. That's like my inner. That's my inner demon coming out of my body just to get it out of the like. This is full on anger right there. But I don't think I could ever actually kill somebody over a fucking game.
Local authorities used the case to highlight the growing problem of violence connected to online gaming in public spaces. The GTA incident. On August 3rd, 2008, in Bangkok, Thailand, 18-year-old high school student Paul Watchino hailed a taxi late at night. When they reached his destination, instead of paying, he pulled a knife and attacked the 54-year-old driver. He stabbed him multiple times before dragging the body from the car and attempting to drive away.
Poor man.
Witnesses quickly alerted police, who intercepted him only minutes later. He confessed that he had been playing Grand Theft Auto and wanted to know what it felt like to hijack a car in real life. Investigators said he showed no signs of intoxication or mental illness, only fixation on the game. The teenager was charged with murder and robbery. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. Thai
What the fuck? Bro was like, hey, fuck it. GTA in real life, man. Let it fucking rip. Let's go hijack. I mean, he could at least just hijack the car instead of killing the old man. Like, what was the point of killing him? He could have just, like, maybe, there's many different ways to do that instead of just killing him. He could have, like, dragged him out of the car, drove it away. What the fuck?
Authorities responded by temporarily pulling copies of Grand Theft Auto 4 from store shelves, citing the killing as evidence of dangerous influence. The crime received international coverage and became one of the first game-inspired homicides. The VR incident. On December 21, 2017, a 44-year-old man in Moscow, Russia, was at home using a virtual reality headset. He moved through his apartment while immersed in the game, unaware of obstacles around him. Investigators later determined that he stumbled while playing and crashed directly into a glass table.
Oh,
the impact
shit.
shattered the surface, slicing deep into his body. Alone in the apartment, he was unable to call for help. Neighbors reported hearing a loud crash, but did not enter. Hours later, family members found him lying in the living room surrounded by broken glass. He had bled to death from severe wounds to his head and neck.
Damn.
Moscow authorities confirmed the accident, noting that it was one of the first recorded cases of a fatality linked directly to the use of a VR headset. The unusual circumstances attracted international attention, with headlines highlighting the hidden dangers of playing immersive games in unsafe environments. The World of Warcraft incident.
Wow.
On February 1st, 2007, a 26-year-old man walked into an internet cafe in Guangzhou, China. He sat down, opened...
Bro, what is up with these internet cafes, bro? What is going on here? What is going on? Something ain't adding up.
The World of Warcraft incident. On February 1st, 2007, a 26-year-old man walked into an internet cafe in Guangzhou, China. He sat down, opened World of Warcraft, and began to play. Witnesses later said he barely spoke, only pausing for instant noodles or brief toilet breaks. Day 1 passed, then day 2. He remained in the same seat, eyes fixed on the screen, fingers steady on the mouse. By the third day, his movement slowed. At 10 a.m., he suddenly slumped forward onto the desk. Other customers thought he had fallen asleep. After several minutes without motion, staff went to check. They shook his shoulder, but he was limp. An ambulance was called. When paramedics arrived, he showed no pulse. Doctors at the nearest hospital declared him dead, citing cardiac arrest linked to extreme exhaustion and dehydration after 3 days of continuous gaming. The Halo incident.
Guys, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing, bro? Why? What are we doing, man? What are we doing? Where wasn't the first incident in 2007? I have no idea. That's crazy, man. My goodness. Can we just...
Continuous gaming. The Halo incident. On October 20th, 2007, in Wellington, Ohio, 16-year-old Daniel Petrick argued with his parents after they confiscated his copy of Halo 3. They had locked the game in a safe, believing he had become dangerously addicted. While they were out, Daniel discovered where the key was hidden and retrieved both the game and his father's pistol. When his parents returned, he confronted them in the living room. He asked them to close their eyes, saying he had a surprise.
No. 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 What?
Instead, he raised the pistol and fired. His mother, Susan, was killed instantly. His father, Mark, was shot in the head, but survived. Daniel attempted to frame his father by placing the gun in his hand. Paramedics arrived quickly and saved him. Daniel was arrested and later sentenced to 23 years to life in prison. The case shocked the United States, raising questions about violent video games and teenage obsession.
What? What? All because the parents took away his game? That's actually insane. That's crazy as hell, bro. Like, they said the father lived. Like, I wonder what the father's doing right now. If the father lived. He was like, man, fuck that kid. I knew that kid fucking was bad news. My goodness.
The Pokemon
That's
clip.
crazy.
On September 7th, 2016,
That's actually crazy.
2 men in Tokushima Prefecture, Japan, were playing Pokemon Go along a coastal path. The mobile game, which used GPS and augmented reality, had become a global sensation only weeks earlier. Players often followed the app into unfamiliar areas while chasing virtual creatures. That afternoon, the men, aged 21 and 22, walked together while staring at their phones. The trail narrowed near a steep drop overlooking the sea. Focused on the screen, they failed to notice the edge. Both fell from a height of more than 65 feet. Emergency responders were called immediately by nearby witnesses.
Are you out of your mind? Are you actually out of your mind? Bro, literally, if I'm on my phone, I can see everything that is around me. How do you not see that there is a cliff? Bruh. How can you not see that? Even if my phone is right here in my face, I still see literally everything. And they're not just one person fell off the cliff. 2 of them. 2 people fell.
One of the men was found alive but badly injured. The other was discovered at the base of the cliff, unresponsive. He was declared dead at the hospital a short time later. Japanese authorities urged players to pay more attention to their surroundings.
That's actually
and the
insane.
case received wide coverage in national and international media.
That's crazy.
The League of Legends incident. On November 14, 2012, a 23-year-old man entered an internet cafe in Wuhan, China. He sat at a terminal, logged into League of Legends, and began to play. Staff said he had been a regular customer, sometimes staying for long sessions, but this time he remained in his seat for nearly 23 hours without pause. Other patrons noticed him shifting uncomfortably, rubbing his chest, but he kept on playing. As the morning turned into afternoon, his body weakened. At 3 p.m., he suddenly slumped back in his chair. His arms fell to his side, the mouse slipped from his hand. The attendant rushed over, calling his name, but he was unresponsive. Paramedics were summoned immediately. By the time they arrived, his pulse was faint and irregular. He was transported to a nearby hospital, where doctors attempted to resuscitate him. He was declared dead shortly afterward. Medical staff attributed the death to cardiac arrest, brought on by fatigue, dehydration, and prolonged immobility. It was...
Bro, no way. I heard someone got ran over by a car because of playing Pokemon Go. Like, pay attention. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Really don't know how people, like, can't physically see what's around them when they're on their phone. I don't know. It's just like, if you know you're doing something, and I know a lot of people text and drive, and, like, you know, accidents do happen from texting and driving. But it's like, if you're driving and, like, you're texting, like, you know, normally people will, like, look up for, like, a split second or whatever, look down, look up, look down, whatever. Like, you know what's going on. How can you, first of all, I still just don't understand how they fell off a cliff. It makes no sense.
Was one of several such incidents reported in China during that period. The Lineage 2 incident. On March 29, 2005 in Shanghai, 2 friends, Qiu Chengwei and Zhu Kaoyuan played the online game Lineage 2. Qiu loaned Zhu a powerful virtual sword, the Dragon Saber. Weeks later, Zhu sold it for 7,200 yuan without permission.
Damn.
Furious, Qiu demanded its return. When Zhu refused, Qiu reported the theft to police. At the time, Chinese law did not recognize virtual property as real, and no charges were filed. On the evening of March 29th, Qiu confronted Zhu in person.
He kills him.
The argument escalated into violence. Qiu drew a knife and stabbed Zhu repeatedly. Zhu died from his wounds. Qiu was arrested at the scene. In June 2005, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. The killing became one of the first high-profile cases linking disputes over virtual items to real-world homicide, sparking debate in China over the value and legal status of digital property. The Pokemon Train.
Damn.
On August 23, 2016, in Tokushima Prefecture, Japan, a 39-year-old truck driver was driving on a rural road while playing Pokemon Go. Distracted by the game, he failed to see two women crossing at a railway intersection. The truck struck both pedestrians. One woman, aged 72, died instantly. The second, aged 60, was rushed to hospital with critical injuries and died shortly afterward. Witnesses said the driver never braked before impact. Police arrested the man at the scene. He admitted he had been playing Pokemon Go behind the wheel. Prosecutors charged him with dangerous driving resulting in death. The case made national headlines in Japan,
my goodness,
where the
bro.
government had already issued public safety warnings about the game. Following the tragedy, Niantic, the game's developer, added new warnings for players not to use the app while operating vehicles. Despite the changes, the Tokushima crash remains one of the deadliest incidents linked to mobile gaming distraction.
Wow. Dude, fun fact, though, straight up. I don't know who I was talking to about this, but I've literally hit almost 3 people in my life driving, and it's always been at nighttime, and they're wearing literal pitch black clothes on the side of the road. And I don't see them until they're literally like right there. And it scares the shit out of me every time I see it. I'm just like, why? First of all, why are you sitting on the side of the road with all black? Where are you going?
It's